Alright, hi dogs by nature. Welcome back to Rufio's Film Room. Today we're going to be talking about the defense, largely because it's been one of the bright spots on the team so far. Just a few weeks into the new season here, we've had obviously not a whole lot of success on offense, and a couple major personnel moves happen. But the defense, I think, has remained strong these first 2 weeks. I hope it continues. I hope they don't quit on the offense and get sort of frustrated and fed up with having to shut opponents out to be able to win. Um, because we're playing as good as any Browns defense has since the return. And for me, it all starts up front here. Um, Here's a play we're going to see from the end zone angle early in the Ravens game, and might look like just a simple incompletion over the middle on TV, but when you watch Phil Taylor here, this is something that might not go into the stat sheet. It's not going to be a sack. It might go in the stat sheet as a pressure or hurry, but just watch how quickly he's able to beat his blocker off the snap and literally shove him to the ground, get a hit on the quarterback, and make Joe Flacco know that he's there. Um, those hits on the quarterback, they build up over time for the defense, and hopefully rattle the guy or potentially knock him out of the game. So any defense wants to get as many hits on the legal, clean hits on the quarterback as they can. Phil Taylor here gets one just by utterly dominating his guy and forcing an early throw and incompletion. So here we're going to look at the very next play from scrimmage. Again, Phil Taylor, big old 98 right here, and also Desmond Bryant here at the right defensive end spot are really going to create some havoc on this play. They're going to beat their blocks. We're going to see first Taylor get singled up because the position he's in for this zone run to the defense's left here. He gets again one-on-one with the center, and you can't block Phil Taylor one-on-one. And this is what we need to see from the Browns to continue to be good on defense. Taylor controls his blocker, fills up this gap. The Ravens have this double team here on Wynn, and they're hoping to create a cutback lane somewhere in here. Taylor seals that, beats his blocker, takes in that gap, forces the cutback, and it's right into Des Bryant's waiting arms there. And you're going to see on the backside of the play, Bryant slices through, and this is what Des Bryant does. Phil Taylor is going to beat you with physicality. I mean, he's quick for a man his size, but he's physical, and he's going to, eat up blocks, beat blockers, and beat you with strength and power. Des Bryant has a little bit of quickness to his game. You're going to see him knife through that B gap there between the guard and the tackle. McKinney has no chance of keeping up with him on this zone run away. And he's there as Rice tries to cut back. There's nowhere to cut back into. It's the first time, I think, in a long time that we've seen a running game like the Ravens struggle against our defense, and that's a great sign moving forward. It may start with the front seven, but I think Ray Horton really has the back end, his secondary, coordinated very well thus far also. I think we sort of don't have the personnel there to be as good as we want to be, particularly at the second cornerback position, maybe one of the safety positions. Obviously, having Joe Hayden is huge to be able to rely on him. But Ray Horton is really, with what he's had, he's coaching us up, and we're playing really well right now. And one thing that I love that I'm seeing when I'm seeing the All-22 is the disguise in our secondary. Okay, because we're going to be a team that blitzes a lot. We're going to try and surprise some people with where some blitzes are coming from, get some free rushers to the quarterback. But that won't do you any good if the quarterback can take a quick three-step drop, one-step drop, get rid of the ball, and the rush can never get to him. So part of making that quarterback hesitate, making that quarterback hold on to the ball, and it is disguising your coverage. In the NFL, when we talk about Whedon struggles, we see the Tom Brady's of the world, the Peyton Mannings of the world, seemingly process all 11 players on the field in a very short period of time. And I really don't think that happens too often. You'd have to probably talk to the quarterbacks themselves to know for sure. But great quarterbacks are going to get a read of the defense pre-snap and narrow down their options. You can only read so many guys, in my opinion, in your drop as a quarterback. So we're going to see here as Flacco takes a few steps back and gets into his drop, gets time for a hitch at the back of it. He's got a decently clean pocket. He might have a rush or two coming in at him here, diving at his feet. But in the NFL, if you get to set your feet like this, step into a throw, and not worry about someone taking your knee out, quarterbacks are going to be pretty successful. But what we've done here, we watched the safeties pre-snap. We're going to see T.J. Ward and Deshaun Gibson here. They're going to be making calls and moving around. And so Flacco can't be sure where they're going to end up after the snap or what the coverage is going to be until he takes the snap, starts in his drop, and sees the safeties move. So here we're going to see they start both back. We show a two-deep look. This is a quarters look with the corners playing off, two-deep safeties. We're going to see our corners roll in. I believe this is screen down here. He's going to roll up, as does T.J. Ward, becoming an eighth man in the box. And now Gibson's drop back to a single high look. Okay. Hayden is sort of bluffing. He looks like he's got inside leverage. You can't really tell what he's going to do. He looks like he might not even be ready for the snap. Okay, but on the snap, we're going to see Ward drop back deep. Okay, so he's bluffing like he's a single high safety here. Gibson is a single high safety. Ward's in the box. And he's actually going to bail out right before the snap and be able to stay over the top of the tight end. And so we sort of have a under-over coverage on the tight end there with Jackson underneath and Ward on top. Now Flacco correctly picks out the one-on-one matchup, which is Buster Screen down here against his, I believe it's a 6'3" or 6'4" receiver in Brown. Flacco puts the ball up, and a guy that's been picked on a lot, especially for his coverage in deep ball situations, Buster Screen, gets up and makes a play here. And that's what you want to see out of the little guy out of Tennessee, Chattanooga. And on a play where the line didn't deliver, the front seven didn't quite get pressure on the quarterback, Flacco has a nice clean pocket again, step in and throw to. We hold up one-on-one in the outside. And so I think that play is a good example of both disguising coverage, making the quarterback unsure of what he's going to see post-snap, and then obviously also winning your one-on-one battles where you got to win your one-on-one battles. So another very encouraging thing about our defense has been the play in obviously just one game, so it's a small sample size. But I've seen very encouraging signs from Barkevious Mingo, our top overall pick this year. Obviously, we're gonna roll this tape. This is beautiful. This is a sight to behold right here for a Browns fan. This is Mingo's first career sack. And I'm actually gonna pull this back and let it go full time. You're gonna see him hesitate and maybe think about having to squeeze the run here on this as the Ravens run this play fake. Barkevious is thinking about trying to squeeze the run down in here. Sees quickly that it's not actually a run and it's a fake. And that's just pure raw athleticism right there. And that is apparent from putting on the tape and letting it roll with Mingo, is that this kid is fast. So we're going to just let this roll. He's going to burst off the line, deep in the backfield. Nobody else really has a speed rush here, but he is the deepest in the backfield. He's going to squeeze it down and then just take Flacco's head off. And if this kid can be a threat off the edge, I think that's the one thing we're really missing. We have Taylor in here is going to eat up blocks, eat up space, really beat you with power. He's going to be big. He's going to be physical. He's going to be mean all game long. We've got Des Bryant, who's usually playing this sort of right end spot. He's obviously going to knife through into the backfield, but he's got some size as well, so he can sort of play inside, he can play out. He's that sort of 3 to 5 technique kind of guy. And what we're missing is an elite speed rusher off the edge. I like the play of Kruger. I like the play of Sheard. They both played above my expectations for them so far this year. But I don't think they're going to be the kind of game-changing player that Alden Smith or Von Miller is going to be. I do think Mingo has a chance to be that guy. So I'm just going to let this roll here, and we can just enjoy this brief, good moment of our season so far. Mingo getting his first career sack. He's celebrating. He's happy. But with Barcavius, it's not all edge rushing. And, we're seeing him sort of earn his playing time. He's not a full-time starter. I like the rotation of our three outside linebacker defensive ends rotating. I like them all getting some playing time. But Mingo's developing in other areas clearly as well. And as I let this roll here, he's going to read screen pretty early in this play. And just watch the ground that he covers to make this tackle on Ray Rice. That's a pretty good back to be running down in your first career NFL game. But just the amount of ground that Mingo can cover is pretty impressive. And there was something you saw at LSU. So, you sort of hope he develops a sense of anticipation, a sense of where the play is going to go. But just the pure amount of ground that he covers right here is impressive. All the way reading the screen. And, yeah, the Ravens got 5 yards, but when you see Ray Rice catch that ball, how many times have we seen it in the past? He catches it here with all this ground in front of him, and we see the tackle made around the 40 or the 50 if it's made at all as the Browns. So it's great to have a player like this who can run plays down from behind. He can use speed off the edge. You hope he develops a little bit more power as he matures as a player and as a human being, puts a little bit more weight on, and develops a counter to some of his speed moves. And if he does that, we're going to have a good player for a long time. So last play I want to put on of Mingo, we're going to see him right now aligned over. This is either a fullback or a tight end in the slot here, split away from the line. Mingo's lined over him. Looks like he's in press man coverage or at least some sort of press, and he's going to zone out on the bottom side of our screen here. On the snap, we see he's actually faking there, and he's going to rush off the edge. So we got a 4-man rush with our 3 interior linemen and Mingo coming in here. We show single high safety behind. We end up playing single high safety. But what's important to me here is that Mingo isn't just beating McKinney with his pure athleticism off the edge, just trying to run around him, only showing us that sort of Cam Wembley move. Here he sets him up, freezes him a little bit inside, gets McKinney bracing for contact on his heels, and spins right out of the block. And now Flacco sees Rice open in the flat, gets it to him. But that easily could have been a loss of 4 yards if Groves can make this tackle. Obviously, that's asking a lot of Groves to tackle Ray Rice one-on-one in the open field there. But it's still a no-gain play. And if Flacco takes any longer to make this decision, he's going to get blindsided by Mingo. And there's a chance for a strip sack, fumble, that sort of play. So seeing this potential flash from Mingo is great. Obviously, you love to see it consistent down-by-down basis. And hopefully as he matures as an NFL player and we see him more and more, we keep seeing these kind of plays. So I'm just going to let this roll here. We're going to watch this nice spin move outside. And he's right on Flacco as that ball is in the air. That's exactly what you want to see out of your speed edge rusher. Getting to the quarterback, getting there quickly, not having it to take coverage sacks, but really beating your blocker and getting to the quarterback. All right, that's what I got on defense this week, Dogs by Nature. Thanks for tuning in to Rufio's Film Room.